She then changed into a pair of high heels and freshened up in the bathroom. After getting ready, she locked the door and went downstairs. The driver was waiting for her at the bottom of the building and asked, "Is everything okay with the room?" Lu replied, "Yes, it's fine." Lu followed the driver to the client's location to discuss the event-related matters. When she returned to the hotel, it was already after 10 in the evening. Lu used her room card to open her room door. As soon as she opened the door, she paused. As is well known, women tend to have more sensitive reactions. The moment she opened the door, she felt that the atmosphere in the room was off. It seemed as if someone, likely a man with a strong body odor, had been in the room while she was out. She frowned, left the door open, and with one foot inside and one foot outside, she cautiously inserted the room card into the slot. As soon as she did, the lights in the room turned on. Lu stood at the door, coughed a few times, and knocked on the door a few times. There was no response from inside. Feeling a bit scared, she carefully entered the room and opened the bathroom door. After looking around for a while, she confirmed that there was no one in the room, but she still felt as if someone had been there. She quickly opened the windows to ventilate the room for a while, and didn't dare to close them. She sat on the bed, looked around, and examined the room. It was then that she took a closer look at the portrait hanging opposite the foot of the bed. As we mentioned, the portrait depicted a man approximately 1 meter wide and 1.5 meters tall. The middle-aged man in the painting was wearing large round glasses, had a thin face, and was proportioned similarly to a real person. He was seated in a chair with his legs crossed, wearing a black suit, black leather shoes, and black gloves. Apart from his face, which was pale, the rest of the colors in the painting were quite dark. It was strange enough that the hotel room had such a painting, but what was even more peculiar was the placement of the painting. It wasn't that it was hung opposite the bed that felt awkward. It was that the painting was hung very low. Generally, when people hang a painting on a wall, they usually place the nail in the middle to upper part of the wall. The angle of the painting should be slightly above the viewer's line of sight, either directly in front or slightly to the side, which feels more comfortable. The painting was hung so low that its top edge was just at the center of the wall, and its bottom edge almost touched the floor. Moreover, the man in the painting seemed to be staring at you, no matter which direction you look from. Lu sat on the bed and glanced at the painting a few times, feeling quite uneasy. After airing out the room for a while, she didn't smell anything unusual. Tired from the day, she closed the door and windows, took a quick shower, and got ready for bed. Before turning in, she chatted with her boyfriend Liu on WeChat, sharing her experiences of the day. She mentioned that she had switched rooms because the first one had a door that wouldn't open, and the driver had suggested it was better to change rooms under such circumstances. She also described the strange painting in her new room, saying that the man in it seemed to be staring at her, which made her very uncomfortable. Her boyfriend tried to reassure her, saying, "Don't overthink it. It's probably just the hotel's decoration. Don't keep staring at it and scare yourself. It's getting late. You should get some rest." After saying goodnight to her boyfriend, Lu prepared to turn off the lights and go to sleep. The room had several small warm yellow light bulbs around the ceiling for decorative purposes, which barely provided any illumination. The main light source was a chandelier made up of 6 uniquely shaped light bulbs hanging from the ceiling. When turned on, it provided ample light for the entire room. Lu had a habit of needing absolute darkness to sleep. She closed the curtains, turned off all the lights, and got into bed. However, she couldn't fall asleep, so she got up again, made sure all the doors and windows were closed. The curtains were drawn and turned off all the lights. The room was pitch black. Lying in bed, she felt as if she was being watched and couldn't fall asleep. She thought about using her phone to chat with her boyfriend for a while. As she opened her eyes and reached for her phone, her gaze fell directly on the painting at the foot of the bed. She was terrified to see that the man's eyes in the painting were glowing with an eerie green light. She propped herself up on the bed, sitting with her back against the headboard. The man's eyes in the painting were indeed flashing green. She wondered if the artist had used some kind of luminous paint for the eyes. The overall color of the painting was dark, with only the man's face being white, contrasted by his black suit, shoes, and gloves. The large round glasses on his pale face made the green glow of his eyes even more striking in the dark room. Lou felt as if there was a menacing skull floating in the air within the painting, with two eerie green eyes staring at her. She let out a scream and quickly felt around for the light switch, turning on all the lights. With the lights on, she nervously examined the painting again. Under the bright light, it looked like the ordinary middle-aged man she had seen before, appearing mature and composed. But at that moment, Lou found the painting very unsettling. She got out of bed, intending to take the painting down and move it aside or turn it around. However, she discovered that the painting was tightly adhered to the wall and couldn't be removed. After searching the room for a while, she found a tablecloth on the desk and used it to cover the painting, blocking the view of the man's upper body. Sitting back on the bed, she felt relieved that the man's face was no longer visible. She sat there for a while and then tried to sleep again. But then she noticed that the room seemed much darker than before. Looking up, she saw that 2 of the 6 light bulbs in the chandelier had gone out, leaving only 4 still lit. No wonder the room felt darker. She picked up her phone and quickly sent a bunch of WeChat messages to her boyfriend Liu. But after waiting for a while, he didn't reply. She checked the time and saw it was almost 1 in the morning. Liu must have fallen asleep. Regardless, covering the painting made her feel much more comfortable. Liu turned off the overhead light, leaving only the bedside lamp on. This time, she didn't dare to turn off all the lights. She buried herself under the covers and dozed off. After a while, she fell asleep. She didn't know how long she had slept when she had another dream. In the dream, she felt there was a strange smell in the room. She kept covering her mouth with her hand. But when she woke up, she suddenly realized that there was a person standing at the foot of her bed. In the dream, the room had been pitch black, and she should have been awakened by the strange odor. She had been covering her mouth. But upon waking, she realized something was wrong. How come the person at the foot of the bed seemed to be holding something and trying to put it on Lou's feet, as if putting on shoes? One hand was gripping her foot while the other tried to force the shoe onto her foot. But it was very difficult and wouldn't fit. She was terrified and wanted to break free, but she found that she could only struggle from side to side in bed and couldn't get up. At that moment, she heard a series of giggles coming from above her head, sounding like a mischievous child laughing happily. She was even more frightened and couldn't lift her head. She strained her neck backward and realized that there was a small figure sitting on the bed above her head. The child was leaning against the headboard, with its tiny feet close to Lou's shoulders. The child was reaching out with its little hand to touch her hair. Lou was extremely nervous. She tried to shout while covering her mouth, but no sound came out. She could only struggle. At that moment, she felt that the person at the foot of the bed had managed to put both shoes on her. Lou was very anxious and frantically kicked her legs, trying to shake off the shoes, but they were too tight and wouldn't come off, squeezing her toes painfully. Then she felt the person at the foot of the bed, without saying a word, move to the side of the bed, seemingly trying to dress her. In the dream, Lou was in a panic. She felt the person reaching for her arm, pulling away the hand that was covering her mouth. At that moment, Lou was extremely tense and struggled frantically. The person seemed to be trying to put the sleeves of a piece of clothing onto her left hand. Lou was so scared that she reached out with her right hand and hit the person with all her might. After a few strikes, there was a clanking sound and Lou woke up with a start. When she woke up, she found the room was truly pitch black. The bedside lamp had been on when she fell asleep, but upon waking she discovered it was off and there was no light at all. Frightened, she quickly reached for the light switches and turned them on. However, when she turned on the bedside lamp, it didn't light up. Only the overhead chandelier was on. But at this moment, only 2 of the light bulbs in the chandelier were still working, and one of them was flickering incessantly, as if it was about to go out. Lou was terrified. She checked her phone and saw that it was a little after 4 in the morning. She couldn't worry about anything else and hurriedly got dressed. While dressing, she felt something on her right arm and realized her jade bracelet was missing. She looked down and saw that the bracelet she had been wearing on her right wrist for years, a gift from her mother, had cracked in half and fallen to the side of the bed. The bracelet had been with her for several years, and she had no idea how it had broken while she was sleeping.